Good morning, everybody. I hope my voice is clear and you're able to see the video. I would like to extend a warm welcome from my Solution Buggy team. I'm Guru Prasad Bangle, and I welcome you to the second day of AIM. AIM is actually an abbreviation for Accelerating Innovation and Ideas in Manufacturing. So as many of you are aware, yesterday we've had two wonderful sessions on specialty chemicals and sustainable chemical products. And the today's session, the current one will be focusing on food. And in the afternoon, we have a next session on beverages, where we will be talking about, food as food processing, and as well as what are the opportunities for an entrepreneur to enter the food processing sector with opportunities in domestic as well as global markets. Before that, a quick intro of Solution Buggy. We bridge the gap between manufacturing industries and experts, both functional and strategy, and we offer a seamless platform that is used to grow and innovate and set up a manufacturing industry. We operate across India and also have completed a few projects in the Middle East. Today, I can proudly say that we are India's largest dedicated platform for the MSME sector. And over the last 10 years, we have onboarded more than 10,000 plus experts, consultants, engineers, trainers, and industry veterans, and executed about 3,500 projects across diverse domains. When I say projects, we have done projects in, it could be one-day assignments ranging from lean management to quality improvement, all the way to setting up of new industries, which goes from concept to commercialization. These are long-term projects stretching up to even 1.5 to 2 years. We take up market research, product identification, detailed project report, feasibility study, machinery procurement and plant setup, supply chain, in the procurement division, as well as helping in sales and marketing strategy. So this is the vast gamut of projects that we work upon. And in terms of sectors, we are very good in food and beverage, chemicals, pharma, a little bit on the renewable energy side, and in the aerospace and defense sector. All these are focused in the MSME segment. I would also like to thank our associated strategic partners and media partners for this AIM 2025 event, which is the Wadhwani Foundation. Then there is the National Environmental and Engineering Research Institute, NIFTEM. Of course, we have one of our speakers from NIFTEM today. Then we have the University of Horticulture Science, Bagalkot. Later in the day, you will have one member from Chamber of Advancement of Small and Medium Business, that is CASNB, the Indus Business Academy, Food and Drink Innovations, FoodTech Pathshala, and last but not the least, the government of Karnataka, who has given us a lot of impetus to start this webinar series. Over the next 1 hour, we will be focusing on the food sector. What are the various value additions that can be done, and the opportunities in the domestic and global markets. And we will also try and see what are the innovative products that are coming up in this sector. With that, I would like to introduce the speakers. Myself, I am Guru Prasad Bangle. I have about 20 plus years of experience in the consulting industry. Have worked in the US and UK and other countries before I came back to India in 2010. I have an MBA from IIM Bangalore and electronics engineering from RBCE. This is my second startup. My first one, I sold it out to Magic Bricks, and I look after project management at Solution Buggy. Our first speaker of the day today, Dr. R. Jagan Mohan, who is the professor and dean at NIFTEM Thanjavur. He has about 36 years of experience in research, teaching, and administration in the field of food processing and food science. He has a PhD in food science from the TNAU. and his career spans right from being a technical assistant at PPRC to his current role, where he is the dean at NIFTEM. I welcome you, Dr. Jagan Mohan.
Thank you for the introduction, and
Yeah.
you will be briefing about that.
Yeah, so I'll just introduce the other speaker of the day, and then we will pull out the PPT for the presentation. Next, I have Mr. George. George Philip is a marketing consultant who is specializing in new product development for the food and beverage industry. He has his focus on the functional foods and the seaweed-based innovative products. He partners with brands to create, more futuristic products by looking at market insights, regulatory expertise, and also focusing on strategic innovation. I welcome you, Mr. George.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So with that, I think we will move over to the presentation, and I invite upon Dr. Jagan Mohan to share his insights over the next 20 minutes or so, and also help us in what are the innovative products that are coming up in the food sector. Over to you, Dr. Jagan.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Barclay, and it was a wonderful time. And to say, I'm from NIFTEM, National Institute of Food Technology and Entrepreneurship Management at Thanjavur. So we focus on many of the things, and the latest one, we started with cereal, and we produced with pulses, and then we converted that into different value-added products. And we have now on expertising on AI and many of the 3D and 4D printing, which is our institute is a pioneering institute as far as 3D printing is concerned. So next slide, please. So now that high value opportunities in India's food processing sector. Actually, India's food processing sector is like growing like anything, and we are in a mood to set the top leaders in India throughout the world. As far as the India food processing sector is concerned, we are starting at current phase of 535 billion by 2026, and we are expecting to reach around 700 billion US dollars by 2030. So this is mainly because of the growing population and urbanization and the changing lifestyle and government support. There is an enormous government support is towards the food sector coming up. And one of the major thing is that PMFME scheme, which is very Prime Minister's micro food enterprises program, where you can right from the startup to the established industries can get a funding or a chance to operate themselves into a different things, and raising health consciousness. So health consciousness, now we are focusing on the precision nutrition for the humans. So that level of artificial intelligence has gone into the food processing sector. Apart from that, there is the major sector is the e-commerce and online platform. Next slide, please. Okay. So the top high value food processing products are major things are fruits and food products. Major thing is amla powder, and many other fruit powders are the fruits and vegetables are converted into different formats to use for the application, and not only for the juices and other applications and nutraceutical side and other things. And fortified baby cereals. Now the fortification and the fortified foods are catching up very strongly through all the media like cereals, pulses, and also through the flours, and we can say now it is coming with the oil industry. So dehydrated onions. The onions are major things. The government of India has announced like top. So tomato, onion, and potatoes are the major crops, and we have to do some of the research on the specific areas of mission mode projects like onion mission, coconut mission, and tomato mission. We have taken up a lot of products have been evolved out of this tomatoes, onions, and potatoes. We can see what one by, and then plant-based meat substitutes. This is one of the major upcoming highly potential business opportunity, especially when we see for an vegan products. So we cannot say the plant-based meat. I used to call it as plant-based vegan substitute for the non-vegetarian products, which is similarity to the non-vegetarian products like meat and fish products. So there are two high-end technologies like extrusion as well as for the many other products like 3D printing of fish and other things, and ready to cook millet products. So millet, as once India has announced that UN has announced that 23 as a year of millet, and many of the products based on the millet have been developed, and many institutions have involved. Major thing was the production and the cost and the processing has gone up in a tremendous way, and utilization of the millet in different sectors has increased to a level, and the consumption of millet has increased to a substantial level compared to earlier before announcing the millet here. And functional snack bars, these snack bars, all these things are actually we are more of a sports conscious and bodybuilding health aspects. We concentrate on skipping the meal or alternate to the meal. What are the functions? What are the products that can be done? And upscaled food ingredients. So why? What does this mean by upscaled food ingredients? Is when there is a lot of fruits and vegetable industries are coming in, and the byproducts or co-products that are being like mango seed and mango skin leather. These are all some of the value waste products which can be converted into a different format, and potato waste peel can be converted into a different format. So that aspects has been upscaling the food and to an ingredient level, and it can be converted into a product. So this is a major sector where we can go into a zero waste, and we can reduce the carbon footprinting of the industries. So these are the major things. And then if you see the frozen fruits and vegetables, India is the second largest fruits and vegetable production, highest fruits and vegetable production. But the utilization part, it's only 2 to 3% is being utilized in some of the formats like value-added products. But what is the reason behind this? Because of the cold chain management. We have a little bit of cold chain management, and then we are expanding the cold chain technologies and using the major things, how to convert that into a value-added product or shelf life. For example, when we are taking the jackfruit, which is having around per annum, we are producing around 2,000 crores of worth of jackfruit is being produced in India alone. And the value addition, if you see, there is only meager value addition is being done. But when you value addition also, it is only the fruit, carpels, and the seed is used. The remaining part are not used. For example, if you take a farmer is taking a jackfruit weighing around 10 kg, only we can say that 5 kgs are utilized for some. So remaining 5 kgs is carrying it to the market in a waste. We are not converting it to a value-added product. It is going as an animal feed, that is not as a formatted animal feed. So these aspects, value addition of the product. So 50% of the money is going waste. So we have to convert. If suppose 2,000 worth of jackfruit is produced, we can value add it into up to 4,000 crores. We can convert that into value of 4,000 crores of fruits and vegetables. So every value chain we have to assess what is the loss and where we can make it to a business opportunity. Please next slide, please. So the concept of value addition, the value addition is mainly to improve the shelf life and food safety, and increasing the functional food products, developing functional food, and enhancing the nutritional quality, and creating an innovative food product where you can substantiate most of the unutilized parts of the fruits and vegetables or any components of that. And convenience for the consumers is a major thing. So every consumer is looking in for a convenience. Say for example, if you say for the extrusion, the flakes are more convenient, the cereals flakes and the rice flakes. So along with that, dehydrated fruits and vegetables can be mixed as a good breakfast mixes, and better presentation by the packaging. So these six important key things are the value addition needed for the consumers to increase the consumption. So next slide, please. So major food sectors, if you see, dairy industries, is actually when we say throughout the industries, the food industries, dairy industries is kept as a red because of the higher pollution control. It has been kept as a red. But the value of the dairy products are the value that can be converted into dairy. Most of the value-added products from dairy are mainly as a liquid milk, but the remaining things, cheese or paneer or many other ice creams, everything. So a lot of companies are coming up, and India is the leading producer of the milk after the White Revolution, and we focus on many of the milk-based nutraceutical components like skin health, and many niche sectors can be developed. Niche sector products can be developed from the dairy industries, and the cereals and pulses. And the cereals and pulses are the major thing which we are the second largest producer of cereals and pulses. And as far as cereals are concerned, we have many variety of cereals which throughout the world we can say most of the cereals and pulses are grown in India, and the value addition is at meager level. Only we consume as a whole grain. Rice as a consume as a whole grain. Wheat we convert into a different value added products. Mostly it is consumed as a bakery industry. And pulses, if you say, one of the highest producer, processor, and consumer of pulses are India. And now it is the newer sector like meat alternates or the protein alternates. We can go, a lot of products can be developed from the pulse sector alone. This pulse sector, why we want to go for a vegan products like based on the pulses are major thing is this: there is no antibiotics, no hormonal dysfunction, and most of the things we can design the products for according to the cultural practices of India as well as to all other countries. And the proteins are more digestible compared to the meat, and the accumulation of metabolites is lesser. So these are the advantages of the pulses. And the fruits and vegetable sector is another major, as explained to you, a lot of fruits and vegetables. And when we go through so some of the things which I am unable to explain because of the time lag, you can check in through the PMFME scheme, where we have put a lot of presentations and process controls, and what are the machineries needed, and which are the products that can be developed from different sectors of the food. And India is endowed with the different varieties of food, where we have the major lacuna. The challenges is we have lesser processable products. So we are converting a lot of a lot of fruits and vegetables into a processable products in a different formats. So meat and poultry food sectors, and this is a very typical thing when we see meat, poultry, and seafood sector. And poultry are the major productions of animal product proteins. Apart from that, this is also a high carbon footprint materials. And seafood, as far as seafood is concerned, we have around 8,000, close to 8,000 kilometers of seashore area, which is a high potential zone for the production of many of the seafood, especially prawns. Many of the seaweed products. I think next speaker will be talking about that. And emerging value-added products are major things. What are the lacunas in the value-added products is the storability, packaging technologies, and self-heating, more of a self-heating products. And so emerging products are 3D printed foods, where precision nutrition. Say, for example, if you want only certain calories or the age-related products, we can design or incorporate the nutrients, sufficient nutrients into the 3D printers, and then we can design a product which can be readily consumable. Just heating it in a microwave, or just as a consumable, direct consumable products can be done. Next slide, please. So in the dairy sector, if you see flavored milk and evaporated and condensed milk, lactose-free milk, ice creams, and ultra high temperature and fortified milk, probiotic and fermented milk and beverages, milk powders and ghee. So among these, what are the largest things is flavored milk and ultra high temperature and fortified milk is more consumed compared to this. And the upcoming industries is probiotic fermented milk beverages are the major next level, and ice cream is an undoubted sector. So at an and in that phase, if you see it is around 18 billion in Indian rupees are the current status, but it is going to triple in the next 10 years. In 2033, it will be around 57,000 billion of Indian value rupees of value-added products are being produced here. The one of the major challenges addressing is that ghee. Ghee is in a lot of adulterations are there. So we have come up with a technology that you can identify it is from the traceability and it is from the identification. It is from the source from either the milk or non-milk ghee that has been adulterated. We can identify these are the technologies which we have been developed using electronic nose. So once it can sense it, it can give you a clear-cut technology of identification of the purity of the ghee. So that is a major market when we convert that into value-added products. So and next slide, please. Yeah. So cereals and pulse sectors, you see, breakfast cereals are the major things. Corn flakes and few extruded products and puffed rice. The puffed rice, these are all it is mixed with the traditional technology and the modern technology. Going like puffed rice, if you see in in Karnataka, you see Arsigire and other areas, you see there are a lot of puffed rice, and Maharashtra and West Bengal. Puffed rice is the major thing consumed as a breakfast cereals, and it is a traditional process where they have selected certain varieties of rice which is being parboiled and pressure steamed and then gone for the puffing. So the major problem with that puffed rice is we have a lot of process lines. We have a lot of process, but when you consume as a as a rice powdered and extruded into a puffing characteristic, the time the process line is very simple, and then consumption is very easy, and process control can be easily made. So there is no need for if you go for a puffed rice in a traditional manner, there is a admixture of sand and other things there. But here it is not. It's not so. It can be in a controlled condition. We can make a lot of flakes and other things. In this also, we have developed some of the technologies which is like germinated, sprouted grains, which increases the vitamin and mineral contents of the flakes and gives you much more bioavailable products. So ready-to-eat snacks and extruded products similar to that of an extrusion process, where now the extrusion process has taken up in a different format, like a supercritical extruder, where at a lower temperature we extrude it to a normal condition where the nutritional bioavailability or the quality of the vitamins are not degraded, and we can make it as a lot of noodles and many other products can be made. So malted and fermented products, when we see malted and fermented products, there are two things: non-alcoholic and alcoholic beverages. So now the newer sector is non-alcoholic beverages like kombucha or this picking up in the market value based on the tea productions and other things. And cereal-based probiotic is in the next level. So gut health, we are focusing towards the gut health. And gut health is the major thing. It's the second brain for the humans. So when there is a gut health is proper condition, we can make a better viability. And the major issue or the challenges for the industries is making a viable microorganism available in the probiotic foods. And now another aspect we are looking in is like that postbiotic products. In the probiotic itself, we are looking in the postbiotic products where the disintegrated microorganisms can also give a functionality for the nervous function, nervous health, and many other neurological health conditions. And it is cereal-based bakery items. This is the major, largest industries in India. So every nook and corner, you can say, imagine there is a bakery and biscuits and tea. So if you see, it's a household to a bigger, larger industries has come up in a well established. But the lacuna is the ingredients that are being substituted into their bakery products plays an important role. So gluten-free products, once again, the millet plays an important role in gluten-free products, and many other newer grains are coming, tough and quinoa based formulations are coming up, and instant mixes like idli, dosa, and upma, porridge. These are all it's a traditional and regular food habits of the South India. Whole of South India, if you say, all these things are predominant, and every day when whatever this the breakfast is there, at least one idli or dosa is more satisfying than any other meal, and it has a different aspects. So next, nutraceutical and fortified flours. So fortified flours, very many industries are the flour industries, wheat flooring milling industries are focusing on fortification, especially for the vitamin, folic acid and vitamin and iron, and many products. But protein enrichment in the wheat flour, it have an impact on the quality, but it is being substituted for specifically for the child nutrition to come over the malnutrition, and giving it an edge for the midday meal programs. Lot of midday meal programs are given using fortified flours. And nutraceutical components, when we see in the nutraceutical components, there are a lot of extracts from the flowers and fruits, wastages, and then this can be incorporated into the flour in a different encapsulated manner. And the dosing and the shelf life of these nutraceutical products are to be a lot of things have been improved by the packaging materials. So starch, the next level of extraction is starch, syrup, and bioethanol. So when you take this tapioca or the sweet potatoes, all these starches are very excellent components with a low glycemic, and more towards making it as an industrial product. For converting into an industrial product, many of the gums or say for the 3D printing also we can give certain things, and bioethanol production is very high compared to this one, and most of the industries are looking for a starch that can be converted into a bioethanol at a lower cost. The cost effectiveness is a major hindrance here, and few people are working on that aspect. Next, please. So fruits and vegetables. So once again, the dehydrated fruits and vegetables. Dehydration has a lot of technologies. Only thing is that all the fruits and vegetables at an average have around 68 to 90% of the moisture. So removing a higher moisture content have be given a high-end technologies, general solar drying and freeze drying and foam mat drying, many other techniques. And then we have a low humidity, low temperature drying technique where we can retain the nutritional aspect as well as the properties of the fruits and vegetables, and give you a excellent flavor. Without losing its flavor, we can make a lot of dehydrated products. These dehydrated products are not consumed in a direct format. They are consumed with along with the cereals and cereal flakes, and mixed with cereal flakes and fruits, so that it goes along with that, which is a complementary effect. So it will reduce the moisture reabsorption. The cereals may be more of a moisture absorbent compared to the fruits and vegetables. So the fermented products, if you say in India, there are a lot of fermented products, and most of the fermented products are not being it is specific, area specific. Say if you say in Northeast, we can say there are a lot of traditional rice varieties, with high phenolic contents, and more of products are developed in Northeast alone. There are around 150 varieties of fermented products from the Northeast alone, right from the meat to the rice, only rice. So along with the some of the products with Ayurvedic effect, like uh, some plant products, the medicinal plants, are incorporated and made into a paste with the rice flour and fermented. And this has been kept as a starter culture in many of the industries in Northeast. And it is all within household, which are not such an there is a lot of to be explored into the fermented products. And jams, jellies, and marmalades, these are all high. It is like flooded. Lot of companies are flooded with different products. The major things challenges are we have to reduce the sugar content. Now we want to go for a health conscious jams and jellies and marmalades where we can have an alternate sugars to reduce the sugar content and to make it more similar to a regular jams and jellies. That is a challenge, and that can be done in a different formats and ready to eat fruits and vegetables. This is frozen, freeze-dried, frozen jackfruits, and a lot of freeze-dried are available. And many of the industries, like a few industries in Tamil Nadu and in mid of India, are doing on this fruits and vegetables. Canned products. The canned products is always have challenges, and because it is mainly given for large consumers, not to a smaller consumer. Many of the things which if you want to handle a canned product, it is only during the travel or any other things we are using. But when you consider that hostels or bigger supply, large food supply canteens are like that. That can be used as larger products can be made from the canned products. And fruit as vegetable juice concentrates are excellent things which we are doing it in a different format. Carbonated fruits and vegetables has to be. It is still at an infant stage. We can go focus on carbonated fruits and vegetable juices and concentrates. That is a major thing. So next please. So meat, poultry, and seafood products. If you see the major, India is the major exporter of these meat, poultry, and seafood products, especially the some pork is a major exporter from India, especially from the Northeast. And smoked, cured, and marinated products. What are the major things? We have excellent system of manufacturing these meat-based products. One of the things which is we are looking in the Ministry of Food Processing has given an subsidy for earlier. It was given subsidy for making of slaughterhouses and stunning slaughterhouses, and then removal of all the excellent quality of meat, how to examine and what are the functional products that can be made. All these things have been clearly demonstrated in the mill. And now the plant-based and hybrid meat or alternate. I cannot say that meat, as far as the FSC is concerned, it is not given. We cannot use the term meat here, but plant-based alternate proteins. So with these two major things are the soya and pea protein. Among this, what are the alternate products that can be incorporated into high protein sources from high protein sources, like duckweed, which is a small plant and high protein concentrated and more balanced amino acid pattern is observed in the duckweed, which is actually it is a growing sector. Duckweed using duckweed for the plant-based meat, it can be replaced as a fat. Protein can be replaced as a fat in the plant-based meat. Technology that we have brought in, and if you say this plant-based meat, soya and pea protein are only thing we consider. But apart from that, we have a lot of millet-based protein, millet extracts, rice extract proteins. All these things are having a different combination of amino acids, which can easily absorb into our system compared to the soya protein. So that is still we have to explore some of the things, and we can do a lot of work on that. And there are high potential because rice production is very high, and rice bran extraction is done used for the oil, and after the de-oiled bran, we can extract the protein, which is a very high valuable component. Apart from that, oil seeds are there. A lot of oil seeds are there. The oil seed, after the extraction of the oil seeds and this meal can be converted into high protein sources, and can be designed into different products. Next, next slide, please. So emerging, I can say that emerging value-added products, one of the thing is that waste valorization. So here in the milk industries, if you see, there are a lot of water is being, wastewater is being pumped out. So one of the things is that we can develop some of the uh, system where we can grow some algal protein. Algal and the protein and nutraceutical components can be extracted from these algal and can be used as a different used for different pharmaceutical as well as nutraceutical as well as cosmetic industries also. So that is a opportunity where the three major industries can be major industries functional foods can be developed for the from the waste valorization. And so 3D and 4D printing is one of the major contributions from our institute, the 3D and 4D printing. So we have certain designs which normally the plastic is being molded into different formats. Here, what we have done is we have changed the format of the starch, flowable like a poly-stretchable material, and then can be designed as per the requirement, like butterfly or what are the shapes you want, or what are the nutrients you want to embed into it. So, say for example, vitamin A or a vitamin fat soluble or a water soluble vitamin has to be embedded into the nutrition, can be mixed with the ingredients, and then can be designed and made into a product. So plant-based alternative is the next highest upcoming industries, and active and intelligent packaging. So one of the active and intelligent packaging is that self-eating. Now the current situation is that we are within next 10 years or 15 years, like 2047, India is planning to send the normal population into a tourism, space tourism, entering into a space tourism. So once this is there, we need food for the different supplement for the different space crafts and other people, astronauts. So we are planning. We have designed products which can be normal controlled conditions like retard processing, and from the retard processing to different higher end technology like high pressure processing, and many other technologies like plasma treated products, which can be used into the packaging system, and making it safe for the consumption at the higher level. So emerging technologies are like artificial intelligence, where you can say, for example, if you are seeing a packaging, uh, we can say that trace out that QR code, and you can trace back what are the from which form this produce has been converted, and what conversion technology has been used for making it a value-added product. So like that we have one thing, and then more towards hyperspectral imaging to assess the quality of the fruits or vegetables that is being converted into processable material. And single cell protein, next level is single cell protein. This single cell protein, especially spirulina or many other things are there, but the spirulina has an excellent protein function. Only drawback that which we is the limitation, the consumption, the quantity of the spirulina that could be consumed is should be limited to a level of 2.5 grams per day. So what is the drawback? Whether we can increase the intake? If you increase the intake, what is the metabolites that is being obtained in the system has to be examined, and then now we are working on extraction of the protein, single cell protein, and then incorporating into a different format. And the format means that is we can easy digestible and more the off flavor, the odor that can be removed from that, and more applicable. More if you add with the moisture, the high moisture product, it will give a off odor. So to prevent that off odor, what are the technologies? What is the flavor or what are the technique we can remove the odor, and by pulsed electric field and a few of the technologies we have evolved, and this shows a promising technique for removing the flavors. So next please. Next slide please. So thank you, and if you want me to show some of the technologies which are sir, can I share some slides?
Yes. Please go ahead.
Just quick slides, few of the things.
Yeah, we are able to see your slide.
Okay. So this is the product which we have. Okay, so pulses value-added products, and let's see. The fruits and vegetable sectors, what are the products we have done, and so this is a jackfruit. So for example, you can make it as an edible plate, bones, and jackfruit waste. Can all this jackfruit waste can be converted into different formats. So apart from that, we did one work with the PepsiCo and Nottingham University, where we are able to use the pulse and the pomegranate waste and apple and oats and apple pomace waste and potato and grape waste into a different, convert that into value-added products, made into flour, and convert that into chips. And potato fines were taken, and this was in the market. Crispy, the Lay's crispy is only from the wastage. And for the Indian side, we have done with the cookies, idli, and chapati. In this flour is converted and used for the making different products. So this is another example of our things, and the technology has been done. So this is a 3D and 4D printing. It was demonstrated to the Prime Minister. So mushrooms, noodles from these noodles generally we see as a thread type of a thing, but we can design this in a different format.
Dr. Jagan, the slides are not changing.
Slides are not changing. Okay. Now?
No, we are able to see value-added products from pulses.
Okay. It takes time, I think.
Yeah. Now we are able to see the food 3D and 4D printing.
So this is a 3D and 4D printing. So chocolates and noodles from potato peel waste and mushroom based snack foods. So mushrooms generally a lot of consumption will be a lot of things, and we can make it as the storability or the safe storage, and we can keep it over a longer time. And probiotic loaded snacks, all these things are 3D and 4D printing using a lot of waste valorization and modifying the ingredient. So major thing is that a major role will be modifying the ingredient and subjecting it for the 3D printing. So fiber enriched. So and you can see this single cell protein. So this is one of the alternate meat products. Or major thing is that we used for instead of replacing animal protein, we have used plant protein, pulses, and banana floret and jackfruit protein has been used for sausages and nuggets. Few industries which are using on that plant-based burger, cultured meat and seafood alternates, sausages, nuggets, and dairy-free meat. So innovation is personalized nutrition, nano-encapsulation, plant-based functional foods, smart food beverages, and okay, I'll just stop here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I
Actually,
think, it's a very good session that we have had with Dr. Jagan. We have not only learned about, the emerging food products that are coming in, but also, technologies like 3D printing, which is very unheard of, especially in the food sector. But NIFTEM being a pioneer in the entire food processing and innovation and research in the food processing sector, I think these are some of the technologies that very few of us would have heard of. We would definitely want to know more about the 3D food printing and the innovative sectors that are coming up. But as I've always told, whenever we talk about food and beverage sector, whatever time we allocate, be it 1 hour or 1.5 hours, even an entire day might not be enough to talk about the emerging sectors in the food as a manufacturing business. So I would now like to thank Dr. Jagan for his invaluable insights. But Doctor, please hold on until the end of the next session, because we have, we definitely have a lot of questions coming in from the audience. I would want you to have a go at a few of them. But before that, I'll invite Mr. George, and his presentation will be coming up. Uh, Over to you, Mr. George, wherein you can take us through the government regulations and what are the kind of rigmaroles that an entrepreneur has to go through when he is
Yeah.
setting this unit. And at the same time, you can also brief us about some of the innovations that are coming up in the seaweeds and other alternative food.
Yeah.
Over to you, Mr.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Guru Prasad. So my name is George Philip. Just for an introduction, basically I work with seaweed-based industries. Essentially, what we do is we do extractions, and we are going with the aim of trying to improve your overall nutritional, like a source, like how nowadays they say that protein intake needs to be there, and for we are trying to create an alternative vegetarian product for them. I also do new product development for brands that are trying to enter in the market. Right. So for the brands that are the people that are here and you want to start into like a food business, I'll take you through what the legal compliances are. And obviously, as everybody knows, the first thing you'll always research about is FSSI. So let's start with that. Can we go to the next slide? So coming with the very first thing, which is licensing. Any food business operator now, that can be basically your food manufacturers, your processors, your distributors, your warehouses, anybody who's going into import or export of products, or even if you're doing an e-commerce, requires a license, right? So this license will vary based on your size and your operating scale. I mean, usually nowadays, most brands will try to start in a pan-India movement, or it could even be like a state-wise, or even if you're just trialing out, you could take a very basic registration as well. Similarly, if you're choosing to export, you'll also have to take up that countries. Like if it's a US, you need to take an FDA. If it's Europe, you'll take EFSA. And that's all very dependent on which countries you're trying to operate in. I would say licensing is a very key aspect because recently there's a case study on which a brand, took a license but was eventually forced to shut down because, they had taken a fake license from concept. So licensing is definitely the first part of any business where you need to ensure that you have a proper registration done. So each and every aspect of the brand, from production to packaging, would have a relevant regulation for it. So coming to your standards and labeling, the FSI defines what are the permissible limits for certain types of foods that can come when you're making a product in terms of your ingredient standards, your food additives, and your contaminants. And also in terms of labeling, if you've ever picked up any sort of product on the market, you will see when you turn it, you'll see that nutritional value should be there, this percentage of R&D, where it's been manufactured, what is the brand behind it. All these things are very important. There are also things like, allergen declaration, and then what is the brand name, product name, etc. Coming next is your hygiene and manufacturing practices. So the Schedule 4 of SFSSI regulations determines what should be your good manufacturing practices. Basically, what it talks about is how the infrastructure should look like, what are your process controls, and then general things like what is the calibration for the machines, what the storage and distribution for your raw and finished goods should look like. Then you also have something called the GHP, which is your good hygienic practices. These are essentially like guidelines, I would say, for the practices the workers should be following. The level of the water quality that's being used. And other than this, you also have something called as the FOSTEC, which is your food safety training and certification that is there for your workers. And along with this, also how you comply with your audits. You maintain food safety logs, and you have testing done at NABL accredited labs, maintaining batch records, etc. So these are the basic things that you can start with when you're doing an FSSAI compliance. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. Wait. Before this, there's also a few other things, like there are these voluntary certifications which are not mandated, but ideally, like if you're going to export into different countries, you can do it. Or for increasing your brand trust or value, there's something called the HACCP, which is your hazard analysis and critical points, control points. Basically, it's a system to identify and control hazards like your biological, chemical, or physical hazards. Even small brands should have a basic HACCP plan for at least 2 major risks that are involved. And then also there are management certifications such as your ISO 22000, which is your food safety management system. Now a brand should have a food safety management system in place, but what the ISO 22000 is a little more specific in nature. So having that seal on your brand always creates more trust. And you also have your ISO 9001, but that is a more general quality management certification. And then you can always, when you're going abroad, you can have the British Retail Consortium Global stand for the UK, or the Europe and Global Supply Chains. And there's also Global Gap, but that's more for agricultural products. So yeah, coming to the government schemes that the government, the MOFP has actually rolled out numerous schemes that support brands to, from production onwards. So talking about the flagship, which is a Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampadna Yojana, this is an umbrella scheme which is implemented by MOFP to build modern food processing infrastructure. It wants to create a comprehensive supply chain from farm to retail, wants to reduce agricultural waste, increase food processing, create jobs, and improve farmers' income at the end of the day. So under these things is where you'll see things like the mega food parks, which are, your cluster-based infrastructure, where if you want to start something, you'll get everything together there, or at least part of it. Then you have the integrated cold chain and value addition infrastructure. This is for obviously supporting your perishable foods, which will, decline otherwise. And then there's also creation of agro-processing clusters, which is your APC. And then there's the food safety and quality assurance facilities. Other than this, there are also other components which the government regularly, keeps adding. So there's something like the Operation Greens, which provides 50% subsidy on transportation and storage to stabilize supply and reduce price volatility. And then there's also your agriculture infrastructure fund. The second scheme that I could mention here is your Pradhan Mantri Formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprises. It provides financial, technical, and business support, including your credit-linked capital subsidies and training to existing individuals, micro enterprises, and groups like FPOs and SHGs to improve their infrastructure, capacity, and access to organized supply chains. Basically, under this scheme, there is like a 35% credit link subsidy for up to 10 lakhs for micro enterprises. Then you would have all seen this ODOP, which is like situated on your railway stations for the common man to see, which promotes regional specialities. Then there's also branding and marketing support for market development. And then the most talked about scheme after that would obviously be your PLI schemes for this thing. It has your financial incentives on incremental sales of processed foods, the support for international brand promotion, focus on ready-to-eat cook categories. Basically, PLI covers a lot of aspects which nowadays people look at, just that you have to create a plan going forward, like what you're going to execute, what kind of requirements you will need. All this has to be basically given. For any government support scheme, this is something very basic that they will ask for. Right. Let's go to the next slide. So what are some food technology and preservation research that's happened? So the points that have been listed here, some of them are in the research stage, some of them have been applied. I'll if any brand has taken it up, I'll probably talk about that. So your non-thermal food preservation, you have traditional preservation like pasteurizing or canning, which often reduces vitamins, flavors, or textures. Now there are new non-thermal methods which aim to keep food fresher, safer, and more nutritious. So first off is you have your HPP, which is your high pressure processing. It uses very high pressure to kill microbes without heat, preserving freshness and nutrients, and it's actually widely used in juices, ready-to-eat meals, and meat product. Now, a brand that's actually utilizing is that raw pressery. If you have if you've seen those, they have those food juice extracts, which are really good. They are able to achieve a 21-day shelf life because of this process. And then you have your pulse electric field, which is it creates short bursts of electricity to disrupt microbial cell membranes. It's useful also in liquid foods like juices, milk, and plant extracts. While this is more of a technology that's being used, it's being provided by manufacturers like Pulse Master or OptiSet. And then you have ultrasound. Ultrasound uses sound waves to enhance microbial inactivation and improve food texture. It's applied in emulsions, juices, and tenderizing meat. Now, this thing is still, I would say, it's not proven to be cost effective yet, but it's under research and it's trying to be refined more. Now, to your second point, bio-based and natural preservatives. Consumers are trying to obviously move away from synthetic preservatives. Like if you would have seen, there was a old marketing trend which happened some time back, saying that the red coloring which comes in certain processed foods is actually coming from a insect or something. So there is a natural tendency for us to try to switch to natural food coloring ingredients or coatings as such. So then there is edible coatings. This is like a thin layer of natural polymers, example starch proteins or seaweed extracts for that matter, which is applied on fruits, vegetables, or bakery items to reduce spoilage and moisture loss. Then you also have plant-based additives. There are spices, herbs, and plant extracts like neem, turmeric, moringa, or rosemary, which act as antimicrobials and antioxidants. So the impact of this is that clean label products are coming forward. They're trying to reduce chemical use, and safer foods are coming up with added health benefits. And you also have something called smart and active packaging. There are smart indicators now, which are essentially sensors or labels that change color to show freshness, temperature abuse, or contamination. Then you have something called the MAP, which is your modified atmosphere packaging, which replaces oxygen with gases like CO2 or N2 to slow microbial growth and oxidization. So a popular Indian snack that uses this is actually your mithai. Yeah, and also you would have also seen another smart active packaging, but that's already been there from the 1960s, but has been recently trending in the market is your Japanese retort technology, which essentially tries to kill all the antimicrobial microbial contamination in the food, and it promises to like create shelf life of 1 year, 2 years, depending on what product you're using. And then you have value addition and byproduct utilization. So what it's essentially trying to do is it's trying to create a circular economy, which is trying. So by that we're reshaping food R&D, right? So millets are definitely right now as the PM had announced it, the year of the millets. It's promoted as a climate resistant, nutrient rich grain for functional food, snacks, and fortified products. You would have seen many varieties coming on millets. Like there are millet noodles now, millet ready to eat snacks, and all that is there. And there's also agro waste utilization, which is using fruit peels, seed husks, and spent grains to create dietary fibers, natural flavors, bioactive compounds, or animal feed. There's actually a very interesting brand in Bangalore, which is, as you know, Bangalore is a very drinking associated market. They trying to use something called spent grains. So when you create beer or any other alcohol, the grains, it extracts the grains from that, ensures there's no alcohol, and it tries to create products like cookies, breads, brownies, etc. So there's a lot of movement happening in agro waste utilization. And then obviously there are the other broader research which is required.
So is
You're right.
it wash?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it from the spent wash which comes out of the alcohol processing?
Spent grains, the
Spent grains.
grains which are used from that.
Right. Okay. Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. And then coming to the shelf life, there's a lot of technology advancements that's happening through preservation strategies and natural solutions. You have enhancing nutritional value or fortification, where you're adding vitamins, minerals, and omega-3 to staples like rice, milk, oils to add address your malnutrition. And Dr. Jagamagan already spoke about valorization of food waste, which is your conversion of waste into biofuels, the biodegradable packaging, or functional food ingredients. And now a bigger, broader aspect of what people are trying to look for is also your food safety and traceability. A lot of brands are now investing into showing you, like if you scan, there are certain brands out there, like let's say Fresh to Home. If you scan behind it, it'll show you where the product is actually coming from. So there are many firms out there which are trying to use blockchain or Internet of Things and AI for end-to-end tracking of food to ensure that there's a lot of visibility or authenticity in the market. Let's go to the next slide. So coming to the export opportunities and global demand, India's food export opportunity, essentially we are the largest or global leader in food exports, especially when it comes to rice, spices, marine products, fruits, and traditional categories. Essentially, processed foods currently form only like a small share, roughly around 15% of total export, but it also is the fastest growing segment in the world. What is the market opportunity here is essentially, global processed foods is going to reach around 5.5 trillion by 2030, and it's growing at 5 to 6% CAGR. And also India's processed food exports are growing at more than, greater than 10% CAGR, which is outpacing global averages because of our competitive power. Essentially, there's a lot of suppliers from here, and we are able to meet that demand. Middle East, North America, and Europe are the largest growth markets with rising demand for authentic Indian flavors, plant-based proteins and ready-to-eat formats. So what are the key challenges here is that the regulatory compliance in developed markets. There's always a need for consistent quality, traceability, and certification. And also logistics and cold chain gaps are definitely impacting, delivery reliability. So what should be the investor takeaway from this is that there are processed food exports which are under penetrated, but they offer high growth and high margin potential. And there are strategic opportunities which lie in value added processing, brand building, and cold chain logistics. Backing Indian exporters right now with capital, technology, and distribution networks can unlock outsized returns in the next decade. Right. So let's go to the next slide. So this is I would say more like a general thing that people should be aware of, which are your nutritional guidelines. While speaking more from a commercial perspective, you should be following your FSSAI guidelines, what has been laid down in terms of labeling, nutrition facts, fortification norms, your allergens claims, whatever, etc. But if you're going for an export perspective, exports are exempt from FSSAI consumer-facing labeling requirements, and instead they should be complying with the importing countries' food laws like the FDA, EFSA, or the GCC standards in the Middle East. While FSSAI licensing is not mandatory on export packs, FSSAI still oversees licensing of the exporter, food safety standards of manufacturing, and export NOCs and certificates if it's required by the destination countries. Now, the entire thing about nutritional guidelines is here that you need to ensure that you don't break FSSAI labeling and nutritional guidelines on the export. It should adapt also at the same time to the destination's country rules. But FSSAI standards on safety, hygiene, licensing will still apply at the production stage. And also coming to the food labeling requirements, this is obviously once you have seen, a lot of brands are also focusing on food labeling requirements. Like a brand, the marketing might have reached the millennials here or the Gen Z here, which is your Whole Truth. Now their whole concept itself is like they're trying to put the nutritional aspects in the front itself, so that there's even a survey which they did which said that almost 72% of consumers nowadays are actively reading the labels to see what they contain, what kind of nutritional aspects that they provide. Right. So this is from what a brand can do from your licensing compliances, what it can do. And now I would like to actually speak a little bit about seaweed based products if time permits. That's all right, right?
Sure. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So I don't have a presentation prepared as such, but I would like to, because seaweed is something that came as a pet project of mine, like something I had very much interested in. Because seaweeds, as probably everybody has heard always, is like something that absorbs more CO2 than trees on land. It's something very making us very self-reliant. It's protecting the oceans, protecting the earth, etc. And I was always interested in how we can further that, especially in India, where seaweeds is not essentially seaweeds is not entirely part of our culture. It's something that's more predominantly there in your Asian cultures, where they actively put it in their day-to-day life. Whereas for us Indians, more, if we have to see it, it's like if you go to like a restaurant, or for that matter, there are actually even Korean brands which are now entering into India and they're starting their own snacking brands. So I was always interested to see how India can always develop its seaweed based market potential here? What is the industry that we can drive? What kind of production can we do? How can we add to that value chain? So some of the things that we have done is, we have created like a range of products. Like one is your seaweed based cookies, which essentially, right, before we talk about that, seaweed, as many people know, might affect someone. Like, it's a taste that we're not all very familiar with. It kind of has like a fishy taste. So that's where we came up with the idea that we'll extract the good things. So seaweed is very nutritional. It has a lot of nutritional benefits to it. Like, for example, one of the key promoters that I would put in it is your vitamin B12, which is mostly only non-vegetarians which have access to it. Now we have a plant-based source for it, or which has always been there, but then now there's one more product from which we can extract vitamin B12. And also, from seaweed, there are many extractions which you can do, which are widely used in food applications, for the texture, for the stability, for the nutritional and functionality. There's also, a sufficient amount of protein and the bioavailability of protein. So bioavailability is basically a lot of things can contain protein, but how well can your body absorb that protein is a question. So seaweed is something that's actually well ranked in that index, which says that the protein intake from seaweeds is actually good. And if I were to talk about seaweeds, I could go on and on. Let's stick to what is the food items here. So we have come up with seaweed based cookies, which essentially takes away that whole fishy taste, but it adds only to the nutritional benefits, like protein comes in, iodine comes in, the vitamin B12 comes in. So that's something that we have done. And then we've also created something called as seaweed based salt, which is, again, at the end of the day, something like a protein salt. And then we also worked with seaweed infused green tea, and also matcha tea for that matter. And so these are some of the food things that we have done. Also from seaweed, you can do other kind of extractions. Like this will essentially come as, like a gelling or a thickening agent. So you have something called the agar, which is extracted from red seaweeds. It's mainly used with jellies or confectionery items, bakery, or those kind of products. Then we have another kind of product called the carrageenan, which are also from red seaweeds. It's used in dairy products like ice cream, chocolate milk, yogurt. It's used as a thickener or a stabilizer. Then you have alginate, which is from your brown seaweeds, which are mainly used in restructure foods, salad dressings, or as a fat replacer. So these are some of the very new things we have done. Then you've also, like how I spoke before, that nowadays that the consumers trying to move away from these colorants, which are maybe taken from an insect source, to something that is a little more natural or organic. You can actually extract something called as phycocyanin, which is from spirulina, as Dr. Jagamohan had mentioned before. These are used as natural food colorants. Phycocyanin, you can get a proper blue color. Now, blue color, to get that food coloring, is actually synthesized at most places. Yes?
Yes.
And then you have your carotenoids, which also provide color and antioxidant properties. It has a lot of potential in beverages and nutraceuticals. Then you have something called the chlorophyll, which is used for green coloring in natural food products. So overall, in the value chain right now, seaweed, even though it's grown majorly in other countries, we are trying to, increase the production levels in India. Like mostly in India, there are only maybe like 2-3 places, because it can only be grown on the coastal belts. So you would take Tamil Nadu, or you can grow it in Gujarat for that matter. And so that is where my personal project is that we're trying to increase and also improve the food benefits and other things for everyday people here. So that's all from my side.
Yeah.
I hope that
So yeah, I think like I keep saying, the half an hour is never enough to get into the food sector per se. But Mr. George has done an excellent job in helping us understand and give some few tidbits, I would say, within this sector. As I'm talking to Mr. George and Mr. Dr. Jagan, and also looking at the questions, there will be a poll that is coming up on your screen. Kindly have a look at it. This is to the audience, and please have your answers for these questions. It's about 5 to 6 questions that will be coming up, and you will be having about 30 seconds to 1 minute to answer them. As you guys are answering these questions, I think as Mr. George was mentioning, seaweeds is something that has come up as an alternative, source of B12, and also it can be used in extraction of some of the products like agar-agar and things like that. Mr. George, is there potential for artificial seaweed parks, or are there already parks existing for this?
There is some, actually the government, if I'm not wrong, in Rameshwaram, they had laid down the foundations. There is a push behind the government to do it. It's not complete yet, but yes, it is there. There's an initiative being started, yes.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Actually, that in Rameshwaram, it is one incubation center has been designed for value-added products of the seaweed.
Oh,
Yes.
very nice. So, is this commercial production, or is it just for?
It's for training as well as for newer, some new entrepreneurs who want to come.
Oh,
Center
okay.
for marine.
ICAR and SIFT, yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I think since you have come in, Dr. Jagan, one question that we want to look at is, how does one go about buying technology from institutes like NIFTEM, IIMR, or CFTRI and things like that? And from a commercialization of these technologies, what are the efforts that an entrepreneur will have to put in to get these technologies commercialized?
Yes, regarding this technologies, we have some available technologies in our website itself we have given. And a few technologies, suppose they want some tailor-made technologies, something that they want a specialized thing for the business. They have write to our director, director at niftem.edu.in, and then that will go to the technology transfer cell, and they will assess what is the content, how much workload is there. Based on that, they will be fixing the cost of the technologies, and that will be we will be having an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, with the party, and then we will within the short time we have certain things are just like we can give it an oral guidance, and certain
Like
things hand holding will be there, and certain things researchable issues will be there. So three sectors we will be working on. So suppose simple already available technology, we will directly give it to them, and whatever the cost they can transfer this. And other thing is that hand holding for 6 months for the available technology, hand holding for 6 months for establishment of a newer machineries and other things, and the process control, everything. We will teach them how to make products. The next aspect is SRP, short-term research project. The short-term research project is specific for them, and we won't disclose to these other people, and they can take the technology and they can make it as a separate entity for their industry.
Right. And also, like you said, when you look at customization of these technologies, the entrepreneur also can come in and do some research in your.
Yeah, they can. In their presence only we will be doing. So until they go for a certain satisfactory level only we will be doing it. And within the timeline, of 3 months to 6 months, we will complete that.
Right. So this is something, our entrepreneurs can definitely make use of. Institutes like NIFTEM, CFTRI, then there could be IIMR, who have, not just the technology with them, but also the space for going and getting it customized and looking at lab facilities and testing facilities in these institutes that can be run. We also work a lot with these kind of institutes and try to see where the available technologies can be customized. Uh, as we are talking about these, the questions that we're having, if anybody has missed the poll, there is a small icon on the bottom of your screen, which you can click and you can answer the questions in case you have joined in late or you have missed the poll. Kindly have a look at it. One question to you, Mr. George. We look at so many technologies that are being offered and things like that. And,
Okay.
a new entrepreneur, what are the few key points that an entrepreneur has to keep in mind if he's, getting into the food processing sector?
Right. So for a food processing sector, the first thing an entrepreneur needs to look at is actually, like what kind of capital is he going to first initially invest in? Because now you have the option of always contract manufacturing and then later, yourself moving into like a food processing by yourself capacity. That option is always there. And also, nowadays there are enough and more sources of information to say like what technologies are being used. But I would say the biggest aspect is always trying to figure out how to reach your MVP through, like what kind of optimization can you do before that. So for an entrepreneur to, it's very subjective, honestly. If I have to say, it's like I have to pick a product. In that product I have to figure out like, who are the entrants that are already there, what are they doing, how are they achieving that kind of output or the volume, what kind of costs are they incurring. So it's a very subjective thing to explain. But I would say that
Right.
unless the entrepreneur has a product in mind, as in, or something he believes in, I see a lot of people out there who are just coming up, they're trialing something and they're leaving, which is
Right.
essentially not going to work out. Unless you have conviction in what product you're selecting, then it's going to be difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
So, we've also been with entrepreneurs for almost 8 to 9 years now. There are always products that keep trending. Some days
Yes.
back it was tempeh. Some days, there is products like eggless churros, or it could be moringa powder. It could be products like kefir alternatives. Then
Yes.
the latest trend that we have looked at is millet-based baby weaning products, something
Yes.
which has
Yes.
really come up, infant foods, or it could be prebiotic and probiotic rich foods for lactating mothers or and pregnant
Okay.
mothers. So, food by and large is always an evolving sector. It is something that people generally kind of think that, Array, I'm doing this at home. Why can't I, commercialize
Mhm.
it? But what
Yes. Yes.
we suggest is, it is not so, easy to, just make whatever you're doing at home at a commercial scale. Things change a lot. Like how doctor was telling about how shelf life plays a huge role, uh, and how Mr. George was also talking about raw juice having a shelf life of 21 days. So, your logistics plays a major role. What kind of packaging are you going to select? Say, for example, you have chosen glass bottles, then, it adds another layer of, logistic problems that you would have to look at. So, food by and large is a huge sector. And again, to complicate that, there are products which can be made from food products, but they are not going into food as such. For example, you could look at corn based products. Corn today goes into biodegradable packaging units.
Yes.
You have corn and starch pellets which come up and which can be made into the bags and plastic replacement bags. Corn starch and corn syrup is something which has a very good demand. Then you could also look at, a few people have asked me about extraction processes, where things like, oleoresins or essential oil extracts can be looked at. And if you ask me today, what is the price of extraction? There is no one answer to it, right? So if you extract something like normal paprika, then your prices might be around 800 to 900 rupees per kg. But if you go for pepper extraction, black pepper extraction and all, it can go all the way to 5,000 rupees per kg. So, when somebody comes to us and asks what can I get into in terms of food processing, there is no one answer to it, right? So a host of aspects have to be looked at. What are the raw material availability? And again, within food, do you want to be a B2B player or you want to get into B2C market? So these are all a lot of considerations that have to be done, and then only you should go for a particular product. And also, when somebody comes to think that I want to set up a processing unit, the immediate question for us is what is your raw material availability period within a year? Because see, from a commercial perspective, if your plant does not run for at least 300 to 330 days in a year, then we would not suggest going for such a product. For example, if somebody says, I want to do mango pulp processing or tomato processing. So, it's a very dicey situation because one is obviously mango or tomato and other seasonal fruits are available for some parts of the year. Now, beyond that, what will you do? What is the, recourse, or what are other products that you can go for? All these have to be kept in mind. Obviously, there are like how doctor was talking about the government schemes and POTS related schemes, and also other PMFME and PMEGP schemes which are available. But as an entrepreneur, your goal should be to have maximum availability of your raw material at the lowest cost, right? So I talk to a few people, then they say we will use cold storage and things like that. But have you factored in the cost for logistics between your cold storage? How far is the cold storage? How much rent will you be paying to store your raw materials? So all this have to be eventually factored in making your entire project report. So unless that is done, it might seem that somebody has set up a processing unit for pulp manufacturing, and I will go for it. But without the groundwork and the basic studies being done, if it is taken up, then it is definitely going to be harmful. So these are some of the aspects that any of us would be suggesting as a well-wishing consultant and as a expert in this field that you should be looking at. So one more question to I think to end of the session, Dr. Jagan, you've been in this field for so long. I would like to ask what are the few not to do things, or what are the cons of getting into food processing as such?
See, I've seen certain companies at different sectors. Or few companies which are focusing only on the ingredients side. They only supply the ingredients. Another company, they work on the supplementary side. Another company, they go for the product side. So when certain food industry which are focusing on ingredients alone, they have to check whether raw material supply chain is proper, and they have to maintain at a proper standard. And
Right.
then those people which are supplementary, which can work on some value added products or some other things, they have to see what is the market trend. They have to watch the ingredient quality as well as the market trend. So market trend may be changing frequently, and then they have to prepare in such a way that if they want to sequencing their production in such a way that depending upon the season and the market, trend, they have to change the product line. The final thing is that when we see all these things, when the marketing side will be a little bit tough, because we have to get a feedback very frequently to change the ingredients. Say the final product designer will be having a problem. Suppose the ingredient price is high, you cannot change the price of the end product. Their regular customers may be a little bit hesitant to take when there is a change in the price. So we have to change the ingredient without compromising the quality of the end product. So there is a two challenges. One, the ingredient manufacturer will not be having much of a change, but the final product designer or the companies which are working on the product development and direct to the consumers, they have to be very cautious. Their raw material is price should be of a minimum level, and the quality has to be maintained, and supply chain is properly designed so that they can face the end product and the consumers. If there is any change in the price or the quality of the product, their market is little bit down. So they have to be very careful on handling such things.
Right.
The design of the product and the machineries aspect, they have to very update their machinery part of it.
Right. So I think somebody had a question. How do they see the technologies that NIFTEM is going to share, or what are the products that NIFTEM is sharing?
For 3D.
No, in general, if they want to buy some technology from NIFTEM.
Yeah, we have some price tags for each technology, because we are also doing research on behalf of ministry, and the ministry is funding the research. So whatever the outcomes, they have to pay certain amount. For example, millet ice cream, millet starch extraction, these things we charge around 5 lakhs for the technology transfer. And for 3 to 4 months, we are hand-holding them how to select the grains and how to process it, and how to extract the starch, and how to value add that starch into different formats. So that technology we are having. So each one, for a jackfruit, if we say jackfruit powder, I've done with the jackfruit powder. So jackfruit selection of the jackfruit, at what stage they have to select the jackfruit, and how to use it. Which are all the components of the jackfruit can be used as a powder, and what is the drying technique they can use, and how to mix and match with different ingredients. For example, jackfruit, you say the outer cover is there, and we are removing that outer cover, and then inner there is a feathery type of strands. They call it a strands or pseudoflowers, and the seeds and the jackfruit carpels. So these drying characteristics differ. So we give the technology how to dry these 3 different components and make it as an individual flour, and mixing and matching with for different needs, for bakery products or chapati products. What products they want to end product, according to that we reformulate the flour, give it to them.
Sure, sir. Sure. So I think it was a wonderful session talking to both Dr. Jagan and as well as Mr. George. We definitely had a lot of knowledge that we got through this session. I'm expecting most of our participants have also gained a lot of knowledge. But as we said, a lot of questions have come up, a lot of queries that have been posted. We were able to answer a few of them, but many of them have not been answered. But do write in to us. You have our email IDs. And I would suggest logging in for the second session, which is the afternoon session for today, which is focused on the beverages sector, where we have some stellar experts coming in and sharing their both the technology and as well as the industrial knowledge in the beverage sector. Thank you once again to all the participants, and thank you, Dr. Jagan, and thank you, Mr. George.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.